Jake woke up at 3 a.m. last Tuesday. Not because of a nightmare, not because his kid was crying. He woke up because his phone buzzed, and the number on the screen made his stomach drop. $847. That is what left his bank account at midnight. Automatically. No warning. No choice. Just gone. That is his truck payment. Now, here is what is interesting about Jake. He makes decent money. He works hard. He pays his bills. By every measure, Jake is doing okay. And yet, at 3 a.m., staring at his phone in the dark, something did not add up. Because after the truck payment, after insurance, after fuel, Jake had $312 left for the rest of the month. $312. Meet David. David drives a 7-year-old Honda Civic. It has got 140,000 miles on it. There is a small dent above the rear wheel that he never bothered to fix. His coworkers make quiet jokes about it at the parking lot. David makes almost exactly the same salary as Jake. But David does not wake up at 3 a.m. Because while Jake is sending $847 every month to a finance company, David is sending $400 every month to a brokerage account, not $847, not a truck. $400 every month into index funds. In 7 years, when Jake finally pays off that truck, which will be worth maybe $12,000 by then, David will have over $43,000 invested, growing, compounding, working while he sleeps. Same salary, same city, completely different financial futures, and the only real difference between Jake and David is one decision, one number, one trap that millions of people walk into every single day, convinced it is completely normal. The car payment trap. And in this video, I am going to show you exactly how it works, why it is designed to feel affordable when it absolutely is not, and the 4 steps you can take right now to never let it catch you. Because what Jake is living through is not bad luck. It is not laziness. It is a system. And once you understand the system, you can step out of it. Hey, I am Finn Carter, and this channel is about explaining money the way nobody did when you were growing up. No jargon, no lectures, just the stuff that actually matters, explained like you are 5. Today, we are talking about car payments. And I know what you are thinking. This is going to be one of those videos where someone tells you to drive a beater and never enjoy anything. That is not what this is. This is about understanding a trap that is specifically designed to feel reasonable. A trap that the automotive industry, the banking system, and decades of marketing have spent billions of dollars building for you. Here is what we are going to cover today. First, we are going to look at what a car payment actually costs. Not the number on the contract, but the real number, the one that includes everything across the full life of the loan. Second, I will explain the treadmill, the mechanic that keeps people locked in this cycle for years longer than they realize. Third, we are going to talk about the 3 mistakes that turn a bad decision into a permanent one. And fourth, the 4 steps out: concrete, specific, doable. By the end of this video, you will understand something that Jake did not when he signed that loan. Something that David figured out early. And it is not complicated. It is not about being rich or being lucky. It is about understanding one number, one mechanic, and one decision that changes everything. Let us get into it. Here's a number I want you to sit with for a second. The average new car payment in the United States has crossed $700 per month. $700 every month for a car, not a mortgage, not rent. A vehicle that is losing value from the moment you drive it off the lot. And that is the average. For trucks and SUVs, which are now the majority of vehicles sold, payments regularly exceed $900, sometimes $1,200, sometimes more. Now, here is what makes this remarkable. Wages have not gone up nearly enough to justify these numbers by traditional financial thinking. A study published in the Journal of Financial Planning found that transportation costs now consume more of household income than at any point in recorded data, and that is before you factor in fuel and insurance. So, how are people doing it? Think about a treadmill for a second. If you step onto a treadmill that is moving faster than you can walk, you do not fall immediately. You grab the handles, you adjust your stride, you make it work for a while, but you are not actually keeping pace. You are just surviving. That is what millions of people are doing with their car payments. They are not affording them, they are surviving them. And here is the part that almost nobody talks about. It is not just the payment, it is everything the payment brings with it. Insurance on a $60,000 truck averages $250 to $300 per month, depending on your location and record. Fuel for a full-size pickup that gets 15 miles per gallon can easily run $400 a month. Maintenance and unexpected repairs over a 7-year loan will typically add another $15,000 total. So let us do the real math. $800 per month for 84 months. That is 7 years. Equals $67,200. Just in loan payments. Add insurance at $275 per month, another $23,100. Add fuel at $380 per month, another $31,920. Add maintenance, another $15,000. That is $137,220 for one vehicle over 7 years. A vehicle that will be worth approximately $12,000 when the loan ends. You paid $137,000 for a $12,000 asset. This is not a car payment. This is wealth destruction with heated seats, and the reason it does not feel that way is because it arrives in monthly installments, small enough to survive, but large enough to quietly consume everything else. I want to introduce you to a mechanic called the treadmill. Not a metaphor this time. An actual financial mechanic that the automotive industry built specifically to keep you buying cars forever. Here is how the treadmill works. You buy a new car. Let us say it is a $45,000 truck. You put a small down payment, maybe $3,000, and finance the rest over 72 months. Your payment is around $740 per month. For the first year, everything feels fine. The truck is new. The payment is manageable. Life is good. But here is what is happening underneath. Cars appreciate. They lose value faster than almost any other major purchase. A new vehicle loses roughly 20% of its value in the first year. By year 3, your $45,000 truck might be worth $26,000, but because of how interest works on long loan terms, you still owe around $29,000. You owe more than the truck is worth. This is called negative equity, and it is the engine of the treadmill. Now, here is what usually happens in year 3 or 4. You get a little bored with the truck, or maybe something breaks, or the dealership sends you a mailer. We will give you top dollar for your trade-in. So you go in, and the dealership is happy to help. They will take your truck, pay off your loan, and roll that $3,000 gap, the difference between what you owe and what the truck is worth, into your new loan. You leave the dealership in a new truck with a fresh 72-month loan. That secretly includes $3,000 of debt from the truck you no longer own. That is the treadmill. You are now paying for a truck you do not have, inside a loan for a truck you do. And if you do this again in 3 years, which most people do, you roll the new gap into, the debt compounds, the loan grows. The monthly payment stays roughly the same because they just extend the term. From the outside, nothing has changed. You have a nice truck. You make a payment every month. Everything looks fine. But underneath, you are on a treadmill that is moving faster and faster. And the only way off is to write a check, sometimes a very large check, to cover the gap between what you owe and what the vehicle is worth. Think of it like a leaking reservoir. Every month you pour water in. That is your payment. And every month water leaks out. That is the depreciation. Most people look at the reservoir and think, it is holding water. I am fine. But they never look at the leak. The dealership knows about the leak. The finance company knows about the leak. The insurance company knows about the leak. You are the only one looking at the water level and thinking you are doing okay. Now let me show you what happens to David. While Jake is on the treadmill, David bought his Honda Civic for $14,000. He paid it off in 3 years. Since then, he has had 0 car payments. He took that same $400 per month, the amount he was paying when he had the loan, and kept sending it somewhere. Not to a finance company, to a brokerage account. At 8% average annual return, which is roughly what a broad index fund has historically delivered over time. $400 per month for 7 years grows to $43,180. Not because David is a genius, not because he got lucky, because he stepped off the treadmill before it started moving. Here's what actually changes when you break out of the car payment trap. 5 things. And none of them are what you would expect. Number 1, your emergency buffer. When you do not have an $800 car payment, you have an extra $800 every month. That sounds obvious. But what most people do not realize is what that extra $800 does to your psychology. It means a $900 car repair does not send you into a debt spiral. It means a slow month at work does not feel like a crisis. The financial breathing room that comes from not having a large fixed payment every month is not just mathematical. It changes how you make every other financial decision. Number 2, your employer leverage. This one surprises people. But think about it. If you have $4,000 in fixed monthly obligations, rent, food, utilities, car payment, you cannot afford to walk away from a job that is not working for you. You need that paycheck every month, without fail. When you remove the car payment from that list, you lower your floor. Your minimum viable income drops. And that means you have more power to negotiate, more ability to take risks, more freedom to change direction. Jake cannot quit his job to start something he actually believes in. Not with $847 leaving his account on the first of every month, David can. Number 3, your relationship with money. There is research from behavioral economists showing that people under persistent financial strain make measurably worse decisions across all categories, not just financial ones. The stress of a tight budget is not just uncomfortable. It consumes cognitive bandwidth. When you are not managing a car payment treadmill, your brain has more space for your work, for your family, for the decisions that actually matter. Number 4, your time horizon. People with large monthly payments think in months. Can I make this month's payment? People without them think in years. What am I building toward? That shift in time horizon sounds small. It is not. Every compound interest calculation, every investment strategy, every wealth building principle depends on thinking in years, not months. Number 5, compounding. Not just in your investment account, compounding in your options. When you have money going into a brokerage account every month, you start to see possibilities that are invisible to someone on the treadmill. You notice that a $5,000 investment opportunity looks very different when you have $5,000 sitting in an index fund versus when you have $12 left before payday. Jake and David are not living different lives because of talent or luck. They are living different lives because one of them is paying rent on a depreciating asset every month, and one of them is building something. 3 mistakes. These are the ones I see over and over, and each one takes a bad situation and makes it permanent. Mistake 1. Focusing on the monthly payment, not the total cost. This is the one the dealership is counting on. They know you will negotiate on payment, not on price. So they extend the term. They stretch a 48-month loan to 72 months. The monthly number drops. You feel like you have won. But here is what actually happened. You did not save money. You agreed to pay more over a longer period for an asset that is losing value the entire time. Before you ever sit in a dealership, calculate the total cost, not the monthly payment. The full price you will pay over the life of the loan, including interest. That number, not the monthly number, is the one that should guide your decision. If the total cost makes you uncomfortable, it should. That discomfort is accurate information. Mistake 2. Rolling negative equity. When a dealership says we will take care of your old loan, they mean they will take your old debt and hide it inside your new loan. It does not disappear. It grows. Because now you are paying interest on it for another 72 months. The rule here is simple. Before you trade in any vehicle, get an independent valuation. Not from the dealership, not from an ad, but from a service like a used vehicle price estimator. If you owe more than the vehicle is worth, you are in negative equity. And your only financially sound options are to pay down the difference yourself, or to keep the vehicle until you are above water. Rolling it into a new loan is not a solution. It is a postponement. That costs interest. Mistake 3. Confusing a depreciating asset with an investment. Cars are not investments. I say this without judgment, because the automotive industry has spent decades telling you the opposite. They frame vehicles in terms of value, reliability, quality, long-term ownership, but a vehicle that loses 50% of its value in 5 years is not an investment. It is an expense, a necessary one, for most people, but an expense. The moment you start thinking of your car as an expression of your success, as something that reflects your worth as a person, you have been captured by the marketing. And at that point, rational financial analysis becomes nearly impossible, because you are no longer choosing transportation. You are protecting your identity. Jake did not buy a truck because he needed it. He bought it because he needed to feel like someone who owned a truck. There is nothing wrong with that feeling. But it costs $137,000 over 7 years, and it is worth knowing the price before you pay it. 4 steps. Concrete, specific, doable right now. Step 1. Calculate your true transportation cost. Open a Notes app. Write down your monthly car payment. Add your insurance premium. Add your average monthly fuel cost. Add your average monthly maintenance. If you do not know it, use $200 as a conservative estimate. Add those 4 numbers together. That is your real transportation cost per month, not the payment, the total. Yeah. For most people with a new truck or SUV, that number is somewhere between $1,400 and $1,900 per month. Write that number down. Put it somewhere visible. That is the number you are currently choosing over everything else. Over investing, over saving, over financial flexibility. Knowing the real number does not mean you have to change anything immediately, but you need to know it. Step 2. Find out where you stand on the treadmill. Get your current loan balance from your lender. It is usually in your online account. Get an independent estimate of your vehicle's current market value. The difference between those 2 numbers is your equity position. If you owe more than the car is worth, you are in negative equity. Write down the exact amount of the gap. That is the amount it would cost you today to step off the treadmill. You do not have to do it today, but knowing that number changes how you think about the next trade-in offer. Step 3. Set your next vehicle ceiling. Before you ever need a new car, decide the maximum you are willing to spend, not as a payment, but as a total purchase price. A reliable used vehicle in the $12,000 to $18,000 range, bought with as large a down payment as possible, financed over no more than 48 months, will deliver the same core function, getting you from point A to point B, as a $55,000 truck for roughly a third of the cost. The rule I would suggest: your vehicle's total purchase price should not exceed 1 year of your gross income. If you earn $60,000 a year, the most you spend on a car is $60,000. Most financial advisors suggest half of that, $30,000, as a more conservative ceiling. Step 4. Automate the redirect. This is the one that builds wealth. The moment your current car loan ends, or the moment you step off the treadmill by selling the vehicle, take the exact monthly payment amount and automate it into an index fund, not a savings account. An index fund. Do not wait to feel ready. Do not wait until you have more money. Set the automation the day the payment stops, because the human brain is very good at finding places for money to go. And if you do not redirect it immediately, it will be absorbed by lifestyle inflation within a month. $400 per month into a broad index fund at an average 8% annual return is $43,000 in 7 years. That is not a projection, that is compound math. It does not require discipline once the automation is running. It just requires the initial setup. That is it. 4 steps. No lifestyle sacrifice. No ramen noodles. Just the math working for you instead of for a finance company. I want to go back to Jake for a second. 3 a.m., phone buzzing, $847, leaving his account in the dark. Jake is not a bad person. He is not bad with money. He walked into a system that is specifically designed to make a $900 monthly payment feel normal, feel manageable, feel like just the cost of having reliable transportation, and the system is very good at what it does. But here's what I want you to take from today. The difference between Jake and David is not talent. It is not income. It is not luck or discipline or some special knowledge that only wealthy people have. The difference is one decision, made once, about what a car is for. A car is transportation. It gets you from where you are to where you need to be. That is the job. And that job can be done for $14,000. Just as well as it can be done for $55,000. The $41,000 difference is not transportation. It is something else. And it is worth knowing what you are actually buying before you buy it. Right now, today, I want you to do one thing. Open your banking app. Find your car payment. Multiply it by the number of months left on your loan. That is the number. That is the money that is committed. Already decided, already leaving. Now add your insurance, add your fuel, add it all up, and then ask yourself one question. If I redirected half of this amount into an index fund every month, starting today, where would I be in 7 years? The answer might surprise you. If this video helped you see something you had not seen before, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Not to lecture them. Just because sometimes understanding the system is the thing that changes everything. Subscribe if you want more of this. Because next week we are talking about something that might be even more expensive than your car payment. And most people have no idea it is happening. I will see you there.